Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines. Welcome to my product spotlight video featuring the Trucking Along bundle by Stampin' Up. This bundle is one of Stampin' Up's online exclusives available July 2023. Be sure to check the online store for its availability. In this video, I'm going to share all the product features of the bundle, show you samples using all of the images in the stamp set and the punch, along with the tips I've learned while I've been using this bundle. The first thing I want to talk about is the stamp set. You get 26 images with the stamp set. 5 are sentiments. You have 6 to build a scene. You've got clouds, trees, grass, and the road. You have 3 to build the truck, and then you have 10 images, 5 outline and 5 solid, that will build images that can go on in the inside of the truck bed. I love the versatility of this. You have outline images for those who love to color in with watercolor pencils, markers, and blends, or you have the solid image that you can ink with your favorite colors and stamp with the outline image to get all the coloring done with the stamp. The punch is a builder punch. You have 4 images. You can build a truck with just using the punch. You can use the 1 image for the truck, 2 of the wheel wells, 2 of the wheels, and then 1 for the window. The bonus for this punch is this window is positioned that you can punch the window out of your truck. Plus, the punch will cut out the truck image that you stamp. So love the versatility of this bundle. I'm going to share more about the punch after I talk about the stamp set. Before I show you my samples, I want to actually show you tips on how to build the truck with the 3 images. I've already stamped the truck outline image with the Memento ink. I have the wheel stamps on the block already. I want to give you a tip. Because this is 1 image, you don't want them to be turned the wrong way. What I do is I just let my photopolymer stamps rest on my surface, and then I bring the block to the stamp, and that picks it up in the right position. So what I'm going to do is use the Memento ink, and you have the outline image already stamped here. And then what I'm going to do, I line up the centers of the wheel, and if I can line those up and put the even pressure down on my stamp, and then let the ink absorb into the paper, and now you have that colored in with the stamps. And as I mentioned, you can also use the you can use markers, blends, etc. to color those in. Now I'm going to stamp my truck with Real Red. Now when I started working with this, I was having trouble lining up to get my image right where I wanted it to be. What I was doing is I was lining up, trying to line the top of this and the top of that. I find better success if I look at this white line. It's going to go right below this black line, and then watch these 2 corners. So if I watch those 2 corners and that white line, I've had better success with inking up or stamping this in the right position. So what I'm going to do is just tap my ink on here. Now you're tapping your ink on because you just want it on the surface. You don't want it inside that window. If you push too hard, you're going to get that ink in that window. And then if you push too hard when you stamp, then you're going to get that inside the truck here. So now what I'm going to do is watch for that white space and the corners, and I'm going to put even pressure down here. Give time for the ink to absorb into the paper, and there we have our stamp. Now I did exactly what I didn't want you to do is I got ink in there. Always have your chamois handy, and you will want to clean your stamp and redo that. So here's what I can do. I'm going to show you a tip with this. So I cut this strip 1.5 inches, so I can go right in here and punch out this truck. But before I do that, I'm going to rotate this way, and because I got ink in that window, I'm going to punch out that first, then I'm going to punch this out. So if you make those mistakes, I would just keep using your image. And let's see, I'm going to look for even. Oops, now I have my truck punched out, and I've got that ready to use. So if you get one ink in there, you have a solution to work with that. So I do want to let you know my my videos are unedited, and they do contain bloopers, and I don't go back and edit those type of things out. So let's talk about the stamp images, and then I'm going to show you more about the punch. So I've worked with all of the images here, and the first one I have here is, well, first of all, they all contain a truck. And in this case, I punched my truck out with the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. And for the banners here, I used the banner pick-a-punch. So I have these 2 punches also included in the supply list of what I've used. So I stamped the truck, just like I showed you, and then I stamped the tree outline first. Then I colored that in and stamped that with the shaded spruce ink. And then I punched that out. This is the Medley 3D folder on this sample. Here I have used several of the stamps. I use Memento to stamp all the outline images. I have the ground punched or stamped here. I'll show you this. I have the ground here, a couple trees. I used the shaded spruce to color those in. I used balmy blue to color that in. And then I used these 2 images. So you get the image for the flower, but not the image for the greenery. What I did was I took my shaded spruce ink pad and I opened it up, and I took a clear block and I just tapped a little bit of the corner into the clear block so I could get ink on that. Then I took my blender pen. A blender pen is clear liquid. Make sure if you've used it before, scribble on scratch paper to make sure it's clean. Then you can take this and create your palette of ink, and then you can come in here and add color to your project. So I really probably didn't want to do this because I didn't want it that dark, but now you can see that that's how I added the color. So I did that for adding the greenery. I put a little bit of the pecan pie down here, and this truck is pecan pie. This folder is the metal plate 3D folder, and that's the folder I used for the remaining of these samples I'm going to share with you. So this is one of my samples to show you how you can build the scene, and I used all those images from the scene truck, or from the scene images, all 6 of those. Now, how I got the color on the rest of this is I stamped on a Post-it note, cut that out, and I covered up the truck. I did not cover this up, but I attempted to avoid that area. I took the mini blender brushes, put them in my ink, and just added some blue on the top. And then I blended some the shaded spruce on the bottom, and that's how I got the added color there, and then removed that. So that was a fun sample to use, showcasing many of the different cards or images. This image is using this fun beach scene. You got the palm tree and some beach items. To color these in, I did the very same thing. The only ink colors I used was Memento, Real Red, Balmy Blue, Crushed Curry, and Pecan Pie, and the shaded spruce. And here we have Sending You Sunny Thoughts. The next image I'm going to show you, I did use the Nested Essential dies for this one. Now you have gifts that you can color. There is an image that is going to color in just part of the images. I used the crushed curry for that. And then I used my blender pen and the tip I just shared with you on coloring the rest of those in. Now these could be Christmas gifts or birthday gifts. So I didn't put a sentiment on this because I could turn this into a Christmas card, or I could turn that into a birthday card. This next card, I used the buckets with the flowers in. So I colored these in with the crushed curry, and then I took the blender pen and the shaded spruce to color the rest in. Now this truck, I stamped the stamp into my shaded spruce ink. Then I stamped it on scratch paper to get some of the ink off, and then I stamped it. So I have kind of a white space up here, but I was okay with that because that just shows that it is a well-loved truck and the paint job is wearing off. And then I used shaded spruce just and stamped that. So this was a fun one to create. This is with the same metal 3D folder, but I turned it the other direction because you have the images this way, or you can rotate it and have it that way. And this is also the nested essentials dies, and so is this. The nested essential dies are new to Stampin' Up's annual catalog. You get these images, these, and these, and I've used all three in my samples that I'm sharing with you here. So the next card I have is using, so I've worked my way down to this little fence or railing that you put in, and I use balmy blue here, but I have a couple different blues here. I have boho and misty moonlight. Now, I failed to tell you, I'm showing some designer series paper in this packet, and that designer series paper is from another online exclusive. It is from the One Horse Open Sleigh paper. This paper is 6 by 6 in size. You get 4 each of these beautiful scenes. So what I've shown so far are the background sides of this paper. So, excuse me, I've shown it on almost all of these cards that have a background. That is from that One Horse Open Sleigh paper, where I've used the background to help decorate these cards. Now, the next card I'm going to show you, let me rearrange this. So as I mentioned, my videos are unedited. So let me bring these cards over. So these next 2 cards I'm going to showcase is using the scene side of this paper. Almost every one of these papers, you could take the truck. And the beauty of having the window punched out, you see the scene on the other side, right through the truck. So you can punch out the window. In this case, I didn't. I just have the truck here, and I have it popped up with dimensionals. I did take the road image and stamp that on the bottom. And then for this card, I stamped the tree, and this is all fussy cut, and then I have that. I did stamp the road image here. So that paper I added to those samples is from the One Horse Open Sleigh paper. Beautiful scenes on one side, plus all the fun backgrounds on the other side. Now I want to talk more about the punch. I had fun creating this next sample using the punch. And the thing about the punch, I've told you it's a builder punch, that you can build your truck or you can punch out the image here. Now, I showed you how I punched out that window before I punched out the image. So if you're going to build a truck, but you don't have a stamped image to guide that, what I would do is take a strip of paper, and I'm going to share these dimensions on my blog. If you want just the truck, this strip is 1.5 inches. And I will also have this information in the text portion of my video. If you want just the tires, that's 3/4 inch. Just the wheel well, that's 3/4 inch. If you want just the window, if you're going in the side, that's 1/2 inch. But if you're coming from the top, you want to go 5/8 of an inch. So I'll share those measurements. But let's go back to the window. For this card, I have all these trucks, and I have the window punched out. So what I did was I punched out my truck, and then I had another image, example, this image. I took this and I used it as my template. Then I took a pencil and I tried to get my lines. So I've got that marked. Then you take a Post-it note, put this on the end of a Post-it note. Then you can reach in here and punch out that window. And then you could punch out your wheels by just reaching in this direction, punch out your wheels. If you want to add hubcaps to this, you can take your hubcap strip. This is 3/4 of an inch wide. Punch those out. I use mini glue dots to attach these images to my truck. You can use your favorite adhesive, but if you use mini glue dots, you can attach your wheel and then your hubcap goes on top. Now there is a slight angle on one side of the hubcap and a straight image or a straight image. This is, oops, this is more straighter. I put that towards the inside, line this image up to the bottom of the truck image, and then you have your, you can start building your truck. So this is how I created this without the wheel wells on there and just some primary colors. And it can be a birthday card or a congratulations card. It can be a card for many different occasions. But you can also sponge some color onto your cardstock to add some depth to your different images. And there is so much you can do with this bundle. I know you're going to love it as much as I do. I will have a PDF of all my card samples on my blog. If you found me via YouTube, look in the text part of this video to get a direct link to my blog post where you can download a PDF that has pictures of all of these samples. And if you are interested in purchasing this product and do not have a demonstrator, I would love to have you reach out to me or go to my online store. And I also would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and happy creating.